I am with Lisa Petrarca Gamido. She is with Mode Addiction Treatment Center. She is also at LICDC. I had to read that. You're a licensed counselor. And so I want to start off, because you started the Mode yourself, I want to start off with your story. You were telling me that you have been sober how long, and then that led you into starting the Mode Addiction Treatment Center. So tell me about you.
I just recently celebrated 21 years sober on August 3rd.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I knew long ago that I wanted to help people. I just didn't know in what capacity. Mm-hmm. And so I guess it was after graduate school, I started working in local treatment centers, and I started to see gaps in the community. And after the last treatment center I worked at, which was a very good treatment center, I just wanted to take things into my own hands.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that you worked in the field for a while. How long did you work in the field before you started the Mode?
Let's see. I would say it was quite some time. It was about maybe 6 years.
Okay, that's great. And so you worked as a counselor, so as an addiction recovery counselor?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're working with people with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, all kinds of addiction, or just those two?
All kinds of addiction.
All kinds of addiction. Okay, great. So then saw the gaps and wanted to start your own treatment center. So called the Mode. Tell us a little bit about how that got started.
So it was 2019, and I was wanting to help people. I put together a business plan, and at first it was just on paper, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Right, sure.
I used my wedding money and my 401k money, and I remember sitting in my car and I was just frozen. I was like, I know I want to help people, but I don't know how. And the last treatment center I was working at, I just felt like I could be doing more for people. And I just took it upon myself to do the next right thing. And
start this yourself.
Started it myself. And in January of 2020, we became an entity. And I knew there was gaps in the community that needed filled. And I knew I could be a vessel and could be doing more for addicts and alcoholics. I knew that they needed a voice and needed to be heard. And
I love that. I love that. Needed a voice, needed to be heard. And I love that you, like we said, you worked in the field, you got your feet wet in it. You are licensed counselor, you know what you're doing. And then you saw these gaps and you said, hey, I can step into the gap. Your mission to promote mental and physical health stability through therapy, education, and advocacy. So share with me a little bit about how you do that through those three things. So we'll start with therapy.
Yeah, so I've just, through the last 4 or 5 years, I've learned what to look for good therapists in the field. You know, I think you need both therapists who are not in addiction, not in recovery, and therapists who are in recovery. I think you need both to be in a good treatment center. And I think you need, I have a bad habit of saying, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
It's my pair word.
So you have therapists that aren't in recovery to provide that, mental and physical health stability. What about how do you educate and advocate for your clients?
Well, I think at the Mode, we're very, very hands-on. We're not about just the dollar. We're about the client, and we truly come from a holistic approach. We look at the client as a person. We're very respectful of the client. We hone in on what the client needs. We take an approach that's part nurture, part tough love, which is what the addict needs. And it's just not a job for any of us,
I totally agree with you. Anyone that I know who's gotten into addiction recovery counseling, I think of even a cousin of mine who considered going into the field. It was because he had been addicted, had come out and was so changed by the people who were his counselors that he considered going into the field. I think for anyone who does go into it, it's a passion for them. It seems like it is definitely a passion for you. And so what kind of services do you provide? I know you have something you wanted to share with me about your group therapy sessions.
Yes, one of my favorite things to do, Sarah, is the family session.
Yes, share about those.
I love doing the family sessions because at the Mode, we do them so different than many treatment centers. I'm not saying other treatment centers don't do it similarly, but many treatment centers don't do it like us. We bring the client in with their significant other, and we don't just do education. We do therapy with both parties in the room. So we fix what's going on. We don't just put a Band-Aid on it. We don't just throw education at them. We actually fix what's going on.
You actually help them kind of walk through the steps that they need to do to heal.
Correct. And we kind of enforce them facing what's going on before they leave the room. And we encourage them getting uncomfortable in treatment, right? Because that's where the healing is.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a safe environment, right? With us with experience. And it's a very safe environment, and then we encourage them not to leave the room and throw things back at each other after they left therapy. But while they're there, they have a very safe environment. I do the family sessions. I'm not there to throw anyone under the bus, the client or the family member. I'm there for both. And we kind of get everything out on the table, and then we heal while we're all in the room together.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So obviously those family sessions, those are like one-on-one appointments with you, or, group sessions with you or with another therapist. What other services do you offer?
And it is an education element to it too.
Sure.
Put that in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I'm not a family therapist by trade, so it is an education piece. And it just happens once during, it's not ongoing.
Okay.
But there's the group and then the individual piece. And then currently our PHP shut down, but we have OP and IOP running at the moment.
Okay, so share what that is for people who are watching who have no idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. So outpatient is pretty much our aftercare. When clients are assessed, they'll be placed in OP or IOP, which is level 1 or level 2.1. So that meets once a week or 3 times a week.
Okay, depending on their needs.
And then they meet with a therapist for individual once a week as well.
Okay, great.
And then our IOP is 7 weeks, and our aftercare is 14 to 16 weeks.
And so right now you're offering only outpatient therapy services at your center?
Only outpatient and intensive outpatient.
And intensive outpatient.
No PHP.
All right.
Correct.
Are you looking to get back into the PHP at some point, or?
We certainly are.
Okay.
We're really ramping up our OP and our IOP, which is really good right now. We have about 16 or 17 clients, and the phones are ringing off the hook. So as soon as that is fully, as soon as those are completely full, and as soon as we have our staff available for PHP, we'll be reopening PHP.
Okay, that's wonderful. I love that. So if someone is watching and they have, a family member struggling with addiction, I always like to go here because I think a lot of us do, or have, a friend who's struggling with addiction. What would you say is the first step? Does that person need to be ready to take that first step? What would you say is the first step for the person kind of looking in, saying, hey, I see this person in my family struggling? What would you say to them?
They just need, we say they just need a pinky full of willingness.
A pinky full of willingness. I like that.
Yeah, because some people are more ready than others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be surprised what we can work with. We have a woman who just brought her husband in yesterday, and, she was much more ready than he was.
But he was a little tiny bit ready, and so
Be very ready.
you were able to get started with him. Okay, well, that's great. So that gives encouragement to people who think, so and so, my friend, isn't ready for this, but I'm ready. Maybe it'll give encouragement to them to say, okay, when they're just even a little bit ready, they can come in and.
Unfortunately, there's still a lot of shame associated with addiction.
Mm-hmm.
We try to handle it with kid gloves, so exactly. Sometimes, the client will be more ready than you think. They're just a little shameful.
Sure. And what would you say to someone maybe who's watching who is struggling with addiction right now? What would you say to them?
Just, it's everywhere. I always tell my clients, try not to match your insides with other people's outsides, because you never know what's going on with people.
That's so true.
We all have things going on. None of us are perfect. Just please take that first step, because, there's so many things out there right now, and especially with the marijuana becoming legal, I constantly see marijuana laced with heavier drugs.
Right.
So please don't take a chance with your life, and just pick up the phone, and we'll meet you wherever you're at. Not geographically, but
right.
we'll meet you wherever you're at emotionally.
Yeah.
And just please pick up the phone, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I love that. Pick up the phone and take it from there. So leading right into that, how can people get in touch with you if they're interested in contacting you?
Yeah, we have a couple of different phone numbers. The best phone number is the Google work number, the 216-772-3188. And just call that number, and one of our experts will connect with you. We do take Medicaid and private insurance.
Oh, wonderful.
So we'll be happy to help you.
Great. And then what about a website or social media?
miraclesoccur.org. And then we're also on Facebook, the Modes Facebook business.
Wonderful. So people could find you on Facebook, at the website, or at that phone number that you mentioned. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for being with me. And I think it's inspirational that you, a long time ago, were in treatment yourself, got sober, and then now are running this recovery center. I love those beautiful stories of redemption. So thank you for using your story to help other people redeem their own lives.
Thank you for what you do too. You help a lot of people. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching here on Good Morning Akron. We had a great show, but make sure you stay tuned, because we've got more great interviews coming on up.